See, parameterization. Parameterization, important chapter. First chapter index. What is parameterization? What is parameterization? Next, purpose of parameterization. Purpose of parameterization. Next, what is data-driven testing? What is data-driven testing? Next, why data-driven testing? Why data-driven testing? Next, relation between parameterization and data-driven testing. Next, how to parameterize. How to parameterize. Next, ways of parameterization. Ways of parameterization. See, this is chapter index. First, what is parameterization? Have any idea what is parameterization? It is global feature. You can find parameterization concept in all programming languages and scripting languages, not only in test automation. It is global feature. What is parameterization? Replacing.
It is the way to replace the constant value.
Yes, replacing constant values. Constant values means fixed values. Replacing constant values with parameters. Replacing constant values with parameters is called parameterization. Suppose login functionality is there, user ID ABCD, password XYZ. That ABCD XYZ constant values, fixed values. If you execute the test 10 times, every time it uses ABCD as username, XYZ as password. If you want to pass different values, multiple values, you need to parameterize. See, what is parameterization? Replacing constant values, replacing constant means fixed. Replacing constant values with parameters is called parameterization. Next, purpose of parameterization. Purpose. Say, data-driven testing. Testing the same functionality with multiple sets of test data. Data-driven testing, one of the purpose. Another purpose, passing single values only, but every time different values. For example, login function is there. For that I need to pass single values only, but different values for every test. Suppose I am calling login function from 10 tests. 10 tests require login functionality. For example, insert order test, open order test, delete order test, fax order test, etc. I am calling login function from these 10 tests, but every time I want to use different usernames and passwords. Single value but different value. For example, for test 1, user ID 1, password 1, for test 2, user ID 2, password 2, for test 3, user ID 3, password 3, like that. See, first purpose, passing single value but different value every time. But different value every time. Next, passing multiple values. Passing multiple values. Two advantages. Next, what is data-driven testing? Testing the same functionality using multiple sets of test data. See, testing the same test or same functionality using multiple sets of test data. Observe, one difference is there in between parameterization and data-driven testing. Parameterization global feature, data-driven testing local feature. You can find data-driven testing feature in test automation only, but parameterization you can find in Java, C, C++, VB script, JavaScript, Perl script, Python script, etc. In Oracle also parameterization concept. Say testing the same functionality using multiple sets of test data is called data-driven testing. Okay. Suppose for one input my application is responding fine. Then why I need to use multiple inputs? Suppose login functionality is there. For one user ID and password, login is working fine. Then why I need to test with different usernames and passwords? Can you tell me? Why data-driven testing? Why we need to use multiple sets of test data? See, for negative testing, negative testing. See, positive testing simple, negative testing difficult. Say, for valid inputs my application is responding fine. What about handling invalid inputs? It has to accept valid inputs and prevent invalid inputs. See, primary purpose of data-driven testing is negative testing, and one secondary purpose also there, checking the reliability of the system. By executing same operations again and again, we can check the reliability of the application. See, in internet you can find if you execute same operation again and again, some applications may hang. Hanging application is not reliable application. See, secondary purpose for checking the reliability of the system. System means application under test. Next, can you tell me what is relation between parameterization and data-driven testing? Which one is superior?
Parameterization.
What is the relation? See, relation is we use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. Data-driven testing means passing multiple values only. Parameterization means not only passing multiple values, also passing single value. But Data-driven testing, passing single value meaningless. Data-driven, meaningless. Getting this point? See, parameterization having
Yes.
higher scope, isn't it? See, we use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. See, somebody feeling data-driven testing, parameterization same, both are same. No. Parameterization is global feature, data-driven testing is local feature. Parameterization, we use parameterization in data-driven testing, but parameterization having higher scope. Say, data-driven testing. Means passing multiple values, only, passing single value meaningless. Next, parameterization means not only passing multiple values, also passing single value. Find the relation between parameterization and data-driven testing. Any queries? Hello?
Queries, sir. No queries.
Okay, cool.
No queries.
Cool. Next, how to parameterize. Say, we have different containers for carrying values. We can use either variables or VB script constants. Don't confuse. Earlier we used one constant term. This constant is English term constant, means fixed value. Next, VB script constant also there. VB script constant to replace literal values. See, don't confuse. This constant is selected constant is English term constant. Next constant VB script constant. We can use either VB script variables or VB script constants or arguments or environment variables or action parameters or dictionary keys as parameters. See, different containers available, but most of the time we use variables and arguments. If it is test level, we prefer variables but no restrictions. If it is test level, we prefer variables. If it is function level, we prefer arguments. Remaining things, limited use, but no restrictions. See, we can use either variables, means VB script variables, constants, VB script constants. We can use either variables or constants or arguments or environment variables, or data table parameters or action parameters or dictionary keys as parameters. See, generally if it is test level, we prefer variables. Function level, we prefer arguments. Okay. Next, ways of parameterization, practical concept. Tell me how to parameterize. We have defined different containers for carrying the data now. How to parameterize?
How means by process or those data table, using data table?
Not only, see, I explained different containers now. We can use variables. We can use variables or arguments.
Or constants.
Okay. See, we can use either variables or constants or arguments or environment variables or data table parameters or action parameters or dictionary keys as parameters. Next, practical concept, ways of parameterization. See, we have different ways of parameterization in UFT. We will discuss all ways of parameterization, but in real time, all ways not required. All types of parameterization not required. Based on your company environment, you can use. See, one or two ways enough, but we will discuss all possible ways for parameterization. But in real time, based on your company environment, you can follow. See, first one, no sequence. Generate and pass values using loop statements, VB script loop statements. Next, extension of this first topic, dynamic submission of test data. Dynamic submission of test data. Here user interaction required for every iteration. Next, using data table. Say, using data table, again 4 types of usage. Just remember usage of data table. Here again 4 types. First one, enter. This is one of the usage. Enter test data directly into data table. It is tool feature. Enter test data directly into data table and connect to the test. See, test is different, test data is different. We have to connect test data with the test. Next, another usage, alternates. And import test data from external files. Here you can use either text files or Excel files. Import test data from external files and connect it to the test. Next, import test data from a database. Import test data from a database, any database, and connect test. Next, hybrid approach. We can insert programmatic statements with tool features in order to avoid some limitations of tool features. Hybrid. Use data table methods and programmatic statements. Next, another one, using environment variables. Next, using, see, this is, you can call using data table parameters. Next, using action parameters. Next, using function arguments, user defined functions, arguments. Next, using dictionary object. Here we use dictionary keys as parameters. Next, using automation objects, VB script automation objects. See, in this automation objects, again 3 different usage. One is read data directly, means without data table. Read data directly from a text file and connect data with the test and connect the data. Read data directly from a text file and connect data. See, here we use file system object. Next, read data directly from an Excel file. Read directly data from an Excel and connect data. Here we use Excel application object. Next, third one, read data directly from a database and connect without data table. Here we use database objects, database connection object and record set objects. Database objects. See, just a minute. Database objects. See, these are the maximum possibilities for parameterization in UFT. We will discuss all methods, but you no need to use all methods for any project. Based on your company strategy, your company environment, you can follow. At the point, ways of parameterization. Can you tell me ways of parameterization?
Yes. Ways of parameterization using generate and pass value using loop statement, dynamic submission of test data, using data table, using function argument, using automation objects, and under that it's read data directly
using
from
using text files, Excel files and database files. Okay, using dictionary keys, etc. Okay, see, these are the maximum possibilities. Okay, first I am taking generate and pass values using loop statements. See, generate and pass values using loop statements. Okay, say passing values. Okay, that is parameterization. What is generate? Say, for parameterization, resource is required. See, test data file is resource. Test data file is resource. For parameterizing tests, generally we use resource files, test data files. But in this first usage, no resource required. Generate and pass means loop statements only generate the test data. You no need to have test data. But here some limitations. See, possibilities and limitations. Possibilities, we can generate sequential numbers. We can generate sequential numbers. Sequential numbers. We can generate sequential numbers. For example, I want to open 1 to 10 records, 1 to 10 orders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequential numbers. 1, 2, 3. Or not only 1 to 3. I want to open 25 to 35 records. Sequence is there, 25, 26, 27, like that. Next, we can generate logical numbers. We can generate logical numbers. Suppose I want to open second order, fourth order, sixth order, only A1 numbers, or I want to open 1, 3, 5 odd numbers, or I want to open every 10th record up to 100. Logic is there. Suppose I want to open 10, 20, 30, like this. Yes, logic is there. but limitations. We can't generate desired numbers. We can't generate desired numbers. For example, I want to open first record, 7th record, 34th record, 56th record. We can't generate. Here, no sequence, no logic. No sequence, no logic. Next, we can't generate string type data, alphabets, etc. We can't generate string type data. For example, I want to use username, password, suppose city name, etc. We can't generate. Isn't it? Using loop statements we can't generate usernames, passwords, na?
Yes, yes.
See. Just a minute. I will show example. Example. See, open order operation. Record. Click open order button. Enter order number. Click OK. Stop. If you want to observe the test execution process, insert wait statement. It is optional. Optional. Put base state and run the script. 1. See, fixed value. Suppose I want to open 1 to 5 orders. Here, what is the test data? 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No test data file required. Means no resource required. We can generate the data using loop statements. Generating and passing values through loop statements. Say, for I equal to loop statements only generate this data. Step 1, increment 1. See, pass, suppose not only I, you can use any meaningful variable name. Suppose order number. Pass variable as parameter. Run the script. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, sequential numbers. See, open 1 to 5 records. Open 1 to 5 records. Next, logic. Say, open A1 numbers. Only A1 records. Up to 10. For that, tell me the logic. Open A1 numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
10. For order number.
Order number
2.
starting 2. 2 to 10. Step 2. Increment 2. Put base state. Run the script. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. See, logic is there. Next, open first 5 orders in reverse order. See, open first 5 orders in reverse order. Tell me the logic. I want to open first 5 orders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like that.
5, number 5.
5,
2, 1.
5 to 1, good.
And step 1.
Step minus 1.
Okay.
Decrement. Not increment, decrement. See, run the script. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Over. One more logic. Observe. I want to open first 5 orders except 4th order. Means I want to open 1, 2, 3, 5. Here condition required within loop. Observe. For order number equal to 1, 2, 5. Step 1. I want to open first 5 orders except 4th order. Here condition required. If order number not equal to symbol, diamond operator, not equal to 4. Every time it checks 1, order number not equal to 4, yes. Next 2, 3, 4. It bypass the condition. Observe. You place the end if statement before next. Run the script. Observe 1, 2, 3, 5. See 4 not open na.
Yes, sir.
See. Next, for this usage, we discussed the possibilities and limitations. We can generate sequential numbers and logical numbers, but we can't generate put-mute. We can't generate desired numbers. Suppose I want to open 1, 7, 30, 50, 72 like that. We can't generate. No logic, no sequence. Next, we can't generate string type data, username, passwords, etc. Next, for that one remedy is there. Dynamic handling of test data, dynamic submission of test data. See, dynamic submission of test data. See, for this usage also, no test data required, no resource required. See, no resource means test data file. No resource is required. But not recommendable for large amount of test data. But not recommendable for large amount of data, only for small amount of test data. Why? For every iteration, user interaction is mandatory. See, user interaction is mandatory. Just a minute. User interaction is mandatory for every iteration. So it is not recommendable for large amount of data. Suppose 100 sets of data, 50 sets of data, 200 sets of data, not recommended. Suppose 3 iterations, 3 sets, 5 sets you can use. See, I'm taking the new test. Generate login functionality. Generate the script for login functionality. Enter agent name. Enter password. Click OK button. Stop. Suppose agent name London. Password fixed in this scenario, in this login functionality. In order to observe the data, you can use wait statement. It is optional. Run the script. London. Executing. Run the script once again. Same fixed data. Suppose I want to use multiple sets of test data. See, agent equal to input box. It is IO function. MSG box for display, output, input box for input. Any meaningful message? Enter agent name. Next, password equal to input box. It is input box is built-in function of VB script as like MSG box. Enter password. Suppose 3 sets of test data for I. Here I dummy. I equal to 1, 2, 3. See, pass variables as parameters, agent, password. Run the script. For every iteration, user interaction is mandatory. User need to submit the data. Dynamic submission of test data. Suppose Delhi. Password Mercury. It is taking Delhi as agent name. Next, second iteration. Mumbai. It is taking Mumbai as agent name. Next, London. So it is taking London as agent name. Say we performed data-driven testing without using any test data file, but for every iteration, user interaction is mandatory. Got the point? What is the limitation of this dynamic submission of test data feature concept?
Yeah.
It is not recommended for large amount of test data.
No.
Why?
Yes, yeah.
Why?
Because you have to input every
Yes.
time.
For every iteration, user interaction is mandatory. And one more thing. One advantage also there for this dynamic submission of test data. One advantage, important one. Observe. It is used to parameterize CAPTCHA fields. See, important usage. It is used to submit CAPTCHA fields. See, no other possibility for submitting CAPTCHA fields. Dynamic submission of test data only possible. Just a minute. You know CAPTCHA? What is CAPTCHA?
No, sir, I don't know.
See, nowadays every public web application is using CAPTCHA. Every public web application is using CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA is verification code. It checks whether the user is human user or not. See, suppose take Gmail login, Gmail registration, user creation. Observe. Gmail user creation. Create an account. Observe. Suppose I want to parameterize this test Gmail user creation functionality. Here observe 10 fields are there. Name, first name, last name, username, password, confirm password, date of birth, gender, phone number, etc. For all these fields, I can prepare test data using Excel file or text file or database file. But at the end, CAPTCHA field is there, verification field. Observe this image. By reading this CAPTCHA only, you can enter that value. You can't prepare CAPTCHA values before the test execution. Okay.
Okay.
For this test, you can use test data file for remaining 9 fields. For remaining 9 fields, general fields, you can use test data file. For this last field, CAPTCHA field, you have to use dynamic submission of test data concept only. Why? You cannot prepare the data for CAPTCHA fields. This is dynamic, automatic generation. Getting this point?
Yes, I got it.
See, one of the important advantage of dynamic submission of test data. What is the important advantage of dynamic submission of test data? We can submit CAPTCHA fields. See next.
Yeah.
Third possibility. Third one, using data table. Using data table parameters. See, you know what is data table? It is an integrated spreadsheet for data related operations. See, it is an already introduced data table in UFT tool window architecture chapter. Once again, it is an integrated spreadsheet, Excel like, not Excel, Excel like. Integrated spreadsheet for data related operations. Next, navigation. How to launch. Can you tell me the navigation?
Navigation, view menu and data table.
View menu, data. Next, data table has two types of sheets. See, data table has two types of sheets. What are the two types of sheets? One is global sheet. Global sheet for entire test. Next, action sheets. Suppose in our test only one action sheet, 10 actions, 10 action sheets. Or you can say local sheets. Next point, data table located in two areas. See, data table located in two areas. First area, in UFT tool main window, UFT tool main window, here name is design time data table, design time data table. Another area, in UFT tool result window, here name is a runtime data table. Runtime data table nothing but carbon copy of design time data table. What is the advantage of runtime data table? That we will discuss in practical chapter, the next class. Next, usage of data table we already discussed. Usage of data table we already discussed. Four types of usage. Enter test data directly into data table and connect to the test. Second one, import test data from external files and connect to the test. Third one, import test data from a database and connect to the test. Last one, hybrid approach, data table methods and programmatic statements. Okay, just steps before practical. Steps, common steps. These are common steps. Steps for data driven. Steps for data driven testing using data table. See, these are the common steps. See, first step, generate the basic test and run it once. Why running the test once? To make sure whether the test is executing without errors or not. Dry run. Next, launch data table and enter or import. Common steps: enter test data directly into data table or import test data from external files. Launch data table and enter or import test data. Third step, connect test data to the test. Next, last step, run the test. See, these are the common steps. And one more thing, connect test data to the test. For this we have three possibilities. You can connect test data with the test using editor view, or using keyword view, or using data driver wizard, that data driver available in tools menu, using data driver. See, tell me the steps for data driven testing using data table. Four steps I explained. First one, generate the basic test and run it once, dry run, to make sure whether the test is executing without errors or not. Second one, launch the data table and enter or import test data. Third step, connect test data to the test. For this we have three possibilities. You can use either editor view or keyword view or data driver. Next, last one, run the test.